I think you know where I'm going with this. When you're a citizen, a tax-paying citizen of our great state, of our great country, of our great community, of our great county, and you pay your taxes and you obey the law and you're a good citizen, we want to know that our government represents us, right? If we want to know that our government represents us, we want to have a representative that we know that we can actually have contact with. A representative that we can convey our message of what's going on in our lives and what we need for our families, for our businesses, for our community. Currently, which is not unusual, our current representative shows up in town. He lives here, but he shows up in town and he meets with the Chamber of Commerce. He meets with donors. And I think one time on a Monday, maybe, at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, when the regular folk are making a living, he had an open forum. What kind of representation is that? What kind of access is that? I want to go back to the days where I see my representative on the street, at the grocery store, in our neighborhoods, at our small events, at our fairs, not just dealing with business people and big donors. And I'm a business person, and I'm a chamber member. But that's not what it's about. It's about having a representative who will listen to us. It's not always about having a representative that agrees with us 100% of the time. It's about having somebody that we know, that is willing to take the time to sit down and talk to you, to spend the time, to work hard. Not just certain groups in the community, not just certain people in the community, everyone in the community. I met Sam about, a year and a half ago. Just called me up and said, I want to come meet you. I was like, okay, sure. Asked me to start getting involved about a year ago in some group called Indivisible. And I was like, what is that? I had not heard of it at the time. He says, well, we're getting a group, we've got a group together, we're meeting, we're starting to take action, we're starting to represent ourselves, we're starting to be involved. Those people that have never been involved before. He was born and raised in Ranger, Texas, I believe. Grandparents were peanut farmers. But weren't necessarily, Sam didn't grow up in necessarily a wealthy atmosphere. Sam once told me, he said, yeah, I was your typical kid. Kind of a bully a little bit. He said, I was a bit of a bully when I was a kid. That's hard to imagine when you know him now. I'm like, really? No, that's not my kid, you're right. But that's the way he described himself. But I think he describes himself that way because he recognized maybe what some kids are going through. He recognized what people are going through whenever other people try to impose themselves on them. I think that's why he recognizes himself that way. But if you know him for 5 minutes, he's probably one of the most gentle, understanding, caring, kind-hearted people you'll ever meet in your entire life. I've known him for a little over a year, but I promise you, you learn that really quick. Sam is also, worked in the nonprofit area. He's worked with people with learning disabilities. He understands that there's times when you've got to have compassion, and not everybody has had the opportunities in the world that some of us have been blessed to have. Sam is the kind of person that is always asking, why? What can I do to help? How can I be involved? I've never met anybody that I've known for such a short amount of time say, you know what, we need to be involved in that community, the Hispanic community, the African American community, all these other communities that he's really not supposed to, according to the world, he's not supposed to be a part of, that we're not supposed to, he's looking for outreach. And when he talked about individual, this is what I love about him, is let's not just stay in your typical lane. Let's get out there and let's be a part of a community, because it's going to take all of us to make our community better. Sam also has understood the challenges of starting your own business, a web design business. He's been through it all. I've seen him understand the idea of somebody saying, look, I want to run my own business, but what about my health care? I'm not working for a big corporation that's going to be able to offer me health care. He understands that himself personally. He's seen that. He's willing to step up. When I saw him put the group together to go and march and about the Affordable Care Act, and we were up in front of Hendrick Health Systems on Pine Street. If you would have asked that of me, of that many people going up there doing that in the last 18 years that I've lived there, I said, oh no, that's not going to happen, there's no way. But the one thing that he understood is that it's not about, you haven't heard me talk about R or B. You haven't heard me say that, right? That's not what it's about. Although the R is good. I'm a lifelong Democrat, you're going to have to understand that. But that's not the way he talks. He talks about rule. He talks about people that live in poverty, people that are in need. He talks about what it takes to be able to help lift those people up, to support the people that have the hardest time in our community. He also understands business. That's the way we need to talk. That's the way we need to understand who our representatives are. Not, are you going to meet with me because I have an R next to my name, or not, you're going to shun me because I have a D next to my name. Because the R and the D still have health problems. The R and the D still have education issues. The R and the D still have business sense. I've been a lifelong Democrat, but I've been a business person for years. I understand that. Just because I have a D next to my name, Sam understands that I also have compassion. So he reaches out to everyone. It is my distinct honor to introduce to you, I guess I have to say, the Democratic, he's not the official nominee because he's a candidate for the Democratic nomination, but I'm pretty sure he's going to win. If he doesn't win this one, we got a problem. But it is my distinct honor to introduce the next representative of the Texas Legislature for House District 71, Taylor County Sweetwater area, Mr. Sam.
Don't upstage the speaker.
You better break it.
You know, I keep saying to myself that things are always darkest before the dawn, and I know it's cliche. I don't know about you, but things seem pretty dark right about now. Rural economies in Texas have stagnated. Our town infrastructures have started to decay. And the dollar doesn't seem to go nearly as far as it did just a few years ago. There are two economies in the United States. There's the capital E economy of New York and Dallas, of Los Angeles and Houston, and the little E economy of Abilene and Sweetwater. You know, back in 2008, we rescued Dallas. Now it's Abilene's turn. We invested in Austin. Now it's time to invest in Anson. We need to create programs that help rural communities flourish and stand on their own. For too long, we believed the lie that government can do no good, that government is the problem, but it's not. As we found out, this lie allowed unscrupulous men to sell our futures to corporate interests. Did you know that the water, speaking of Ranger, the water in Ranger, Texas is so toxic that national news organizations have come out to test it and to do stories on it. But nobody seems to care. Austin sure doesn't seem to care. I believe that ensuring families have access to clean drinking water is more important than wasting money legislating where somebody can or can't go to the bathroom. I believe in working on common sense solutions to real problems, rather than arbitrarily cutting funding to programs and services that people rely on. But the politicians in Austin only seem to be concerned with their moral victories. Moral. Is it moral when a child doesn't have enough to eat? Is it moral that we've stripped our education system to the point where we can't strip it anymore? They call these conservative victories, but where is the victory?
What are they conserving? Who's winning?
Well, hopefully it is. It is no kind of victory that produces a hungry child. There is no victory in taking from the poor. I believe in a government that measures its successes and failures not in the bottom line, but rather how many children are fed or how many people are without need. I believe the state should provide for the common good, and I shouldn't have to say that. I believe that we should invest in roads, schools, and hospitals. Democratic government should be a tool for equity, like ensuring that all people have access to adequate health care. When government is wielded by unscrupulous or ignorant men, it is corrupted into a weapon. And that weapon is used against the people, and is used against the poor. That is not how we should do things. That's not how we do things in the big country. The big country is not Austin. It is full of kind and compassionate people. I believe that we can export those values of kindness and compassion, not only to Austin, but to the rest of the state. But these endeavors will require effort. I believe that we can fund our education system. Oh, that's the big one. I believe that we can allow municipalities to determine their own destinies. But like I said, this is going to require effort. I'm going to need your help. I'm going to need your support. And I'm going to need your vote. Thank you. So just, if y'all could do 3 things for me tonight, I would appreciate it. First one, most important one, make sure that you tip our waiter. We don't want a room full of Democrats with a bad name here. The second is, we're going to pass out some envelopes. If you could put your information on those envelopes, we'd really appreciate it. It helps keep track of who's coming in. And third, if you could make a donation to our campaign, I would appreciate it. Because unfortunately, they don't run our area. As much as I want them to, we have to have money in order to spread our message. Thank you so much for coming tonight. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.